we've got problems. So, the group is doing better than absolute and utter radio silence now. Good, but here's a message I forgot to convey to everyone. There's going to be two people, like story-wise, not about the team. But if we're talking about the team, everyone know about, like, every person in the group except for probably one guy and me are ranking on one dude just because mostly because of the shown ignorance. Like, I'm not trying to throw salt in their wounds or anything, but I'm pretty sure everyone has the big... No, everyone's positive that they, he, she, whoever they may be, in this certain group is completely 100% void of a brain. Let's put it like that, shall we? Because it's obviously what they're thinking, and it's obviously not good. Now, we've been meeting. Next meeting should be at least, Friday, if possible, for everyone to get together and talk. I don't know. In other news, I might have an optional person who would like to do some music, but I'd rather him work with the first guy. And yes, he's the same. He, she, they are the same person who is hated all among the group. That is just a little pit of annoyance that I'm having with this group specifically. I've worked with groups before, but not on anything that takes a lot of time. It usually takes like one day. Not a lot of time. Not the amounts of 4 years. I don't know what to do with this group, except for pray that things don't blow up in mine and everyone else's collective face. It's very interesting how pure an idea could be, yet someone could bulldoze in, not do a darn thing, just talk, and ruin it. Like most of what this group could be. A big, flat, ruined mistake. I'd love to be wrong, but right now no one's proving me wrong. They darn sure will. Well, I don't know. I guess what I'd love to say is they're not prepared. I'm not prepared. We are not prepared for this at all. I'd love for everyone to hop in Hangout, Discord, or Skype somewhere and just talk things out without complaining or arguing, but I'm pretty sure all I can get is like a hello, 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 and 100% argument 2 seconds later. It's not going to work for me. It's not going to work for them. And if they prove me any more right than I already know I am, I might just go ahead and do the hardest thing ever. Work on this game myself. With no one the wiser. Except for all who watch these videos, which is everyone in the said group. I don't care if I just make a side scroller on my own with a blatantly bull story. I'd just rather them be more partners who don't have to like each other but do it in silence than friends who try to get me on their side. I'm basically the lead way of this entire project. I have, 2 people with a sensible mind choosing not to talk to the person they hate. But by not talking to the person they hate, they might at least segue other things that I'd like to talk about calmly. It's not working. Darn well should, but I don't know. There's an obvious problem, But no one wants to speak up and state their mind calmly without arguing at said hated person. You want to know my idea of purity? Purity. One single star. In the middle of nowhere. That would be my example of purity. The two opposites I see are an attitude a relative of mine carries everywhere, and this group's attitude towards one person. The exact opposite of purity. And I'm not talking about pure light or dark, it's just impure. They're hating on one person for something they didn't do. I'm honestly surprised at humanity right now, but I'm more stunned at the group I've, let's say, assembled. It's annoying, confusing, and I'm pretty sure they all need mental help. Counseling. I already know one has parent issues, another's lazy, 3 are actually productive, and two of them actually are just nothing but big narcissists. I'd like to know why they hate on a certain person so much. I'd love to figure out why and stop that. Because it's really colliding in with my project. In other news, we have 2 story types. Now, I think I'm just going to cut and explain in a few seconds, but I just need to formulate the right words. This is very difficult to explain. Just got the idea of the 2 stories, or what the story writers have told me of such. Now, this is basically 2 tales of butting heads between my story I typed up, more gruesome, versus 2 story writers that I signed. A lot better than I expected, honestly. But the gruesome one is basically fumbling with the words already. The adaptation period. Humanity is racing against time with a tragic event that will happen later on. But if that story's the one we're going to select for the game, that's a big spoiler. Basically, supernatural powers are a daily thing because amputees sign up for a willing test subjects thing, or whatever, something like that. I don't really know how to explain it, even though I wrote it. Yeah, that's kind of difficult to explain. Another is more open to the sense. I don't really know how to explain the tale either, but it's like adopted children. It involves adopted children. Son, adopted. God, Jesus, really? Wow. Adopted children of explorers. They go exploring everywhere while learning history. Mistakes happen, and things that shouldn't have been found are. Certain characters are given special traits in the matter, consisting with the elements or not. A few not, few are. But in the elemental sense, a few characters are actually supposed to share elements, like fire and ice. There are going to be 2 people wielding those 2 elements. 2 people wielding fire, 2 people wielding ice. That's something I forgot to mention. But then again, we'll sort that out later and see if we can still keep that idea. I just want to know why keeping a group together over one person is so hard. The argument's more like this. I'm going to take a knife and point it at your throat. The more you're like you, it's going to get closer to your throat. The less you're like you, sometimes I put it away. Doesn't matter how far you're moving, the knife's always there. It's not really a healthy thing. Well, I say, screw you, ignore me. I'm not the type of person to enjoy having a knife at my throat, but come on now. If ignoring me is really the problem, you really shouldn't be around me then. To work with me or not, we could be on the opposite sides of a building. Pretty sure you'd still hate me. It's actually quite odd how fond you are of me if you hate me so much. That's more or less quoting someone. Quoting no one. Quoting a hated person who just knows they're hated and just doesn't care. It's better to, not complain or gripe at all than gripe so much that your personal life is interfered or screwed by you saying you hate someone so much you wish something bad would happen to someone else. Not talking is usually the best action. Yeah, that's basically it. I have nothing more to say. This has been Ace True Eye signing off.